TJ Jefferson, good to see you over there. How are you?
How you guys doing?
Well, you're holding up your release of fandom for the Dallas Cowboys. No, he has not.
Is it signed?
Well, here's how we're starting on this program. Many people will say to us, hey, enjoy your show. We say thank you.
Thank you.
After that, they might say, one of my favorite segments is Overreaction Monday. We say thank you to that.
Of course.
And that's part of the reason why we have also created a podcast off of that. And, those two things are separate, but it's all part of the same world in which we've created here, where that and what's more likely is usually the subject matter or segment where people will say to us, we'd love to revisit, check your work a little bit. How have your takes, opinions, or in the case of what you do, Chris, subject matters, the constructs of the segments.
Sure.
How accurate are they? How do they age? Well, on Monday's edition of the Rich Eisen Show, on Overreaction Monday, this happened.
Remember before the draft when the Cowboy came up and Jerry Jones was like, I'm working on some big things and I got some trades in the hopper. Maybe before, maybe after, he called them substantive. Actually, he's not working on anything. There are no substantive trades, like he said before the draft. Nothing is happening.
And I called that an overreaction. And I also appreciate excellent editing to our crack staff to edit out the fact that I said, basically, the reason why it's an overreaction is because there could have been trades going into the draft, but the trade partners got cold feet, or the board of the draft broke in a certain way, and they wanted to use their draft choice on a certain player. So no deal, Jerry. And I then said, now that the draft's over, certainly nothing's going to be happening. Well, we all woke up this morning to the news that the Dallas Cowboys have acquired the wide receiving services of George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who get a third-round pick in next year's draft and a fifth-round pick in the 27 draft, now in Washington, D.C., in which the Cowboys will see a sixth-round pick from Pittsburgh go their way, and so does George Pickens in the final year of his rookie contract. So there's that.
Okay.
Jerry has been cooking on something, and this is a substantive trade that now adds a highly talented, physical, outside-the-numbers presence to an offense that really hasn't had much of an answer to the question of what happens if defenses shade their coverage to take CeeDee Lamb out of the game. And basically, it's been on CeeDee Lamb to say, doesn't matter. And that has happened more often than not, to the tune of CeeDee getting his nice chunk of the pie last year, albeit later than what everybody thought Jerry should give it to him.
There is less pie.
So now you add a guy who can take the top of the defense off on the other side of the field. Now you add a guy that will bring a certain physical aspect to the game. And now you add a guy who would become expendable in Pittsburgh, and that's obviously a lot of questions involving that. If he's so damn talented, and if Aaron Rodgers is deciding whether or not to come off the beach in Malibu and get other personal affairs of his in order to the point where he can focus on playing football again, which is the scenario that he himself laid out for us last time we heard from him on Pat's show. Does this make him think, why do I need to get my affairs in order? We just lost a major piece in George Pickens. What are they doing? Mm-hmm. Let's take the Cowboys side of this, as I mentioned. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
You should like it too, TJ, because when they announce this trade officially, we should have Jerry Jones hold up the front page of today's Dallas Morning News to once again prove that there is a sign of life in that front office with a splash to it. Nice splashy move right there. And absolutely, one would think the Dallas Cowboys will take their time on signing George Pickens for various reasons. One, because that's what they do, is they take their time to the point where we're wondering, do you not know what time it is? It's time to pay your guy. And what they're not going to do also is pay a kid just new to the team when all Jerry's been doing for the last 2 years at least is to say everybody around here needs to sing for their supper and the right to have the star on the side of your helmet. And they're going to let George Pickens, I would imagine, go through this entire season to say, I want a bag, Jerry. Look what I just did for you. Look what I just did for Brian Schottenheimer in a crucial first season for him. Look what I just did for Dak in his crucial return to action and health. Look what I've done to this offense. Look what I've done for this offense. Look what I can do to the opposing defense in a very deep end of the talent pool in the National Football League and the National Football Conference Eastern Division, where the Super Bowl champions reside, and the top two teams now in my way too early power rankings. The Washington Commanders have vastly improved things, and one would think the Giants have definitely stepped up their ability to win football games better than last year as well. Although I do need to see who's playing quarterback there and what happens. No, but they're a better team, you could say. And the Cowboys showing a pulse.
Okay.
An old school flair. All it did was cost them a 3 and a 5 next year and the year after.
Yeah, what's that?
But again, the way I'm taking it is very un-Cowboy-like for the last few years to just go ahead and make a big splash. Because this is splashy.
Look, we've been promised something for how long, right? And as you know, I'm losing faith over here. Monaco's losing faith in there. Other fans are losing.
Don't drag our director in.
Oh, no, he knows. He already knows.
Drag it
because
in.
I'm not taking, either we ride together, we die together, me and Monaco on this Cowboy train. So my thoughts are his thoughts and vice versa. But we've been promised, man. You know what I'm saying, Brockman? Like, yeah, we're going to do something. I got a text at 4:30 this morning, and I'm angry. I woke up. I was like, who the heck is this? And then I saw the text. I was like, what?
Who sent you a text at 4:30 in the morning
my fantasy
about this?
football group chat.
Nice. East Coasters?
Yeah, one guy in the East Coast. Yeah.
What nice. I would be. That is a foul.
I was upset, but I let it pass because it was good.
It was good news.
So how could I be mad? So on behalf of me and Monaco and Brockman and all of Cowboy Nation, you see this release of fandom.
Are you gonna rip it?
I said I was never going to sign this, and I'm never going to sign it.
That's a semi-legal document.
I mean, it's for life.
Well, it's not really notarized.
It's full life.
Felly's not a notary.
Wow.
Felly.
Let's go. You got me back. I was out, Rich. I wanted to leave.
You got to back up.
They didn't let me out.
Don't worry, I've got a copy.
I'll rip that up, too. Matter of fact, I'll set that one on fire. Point is, I ain't out. Show some life. Show me that at least you're trying. That's the fan base. All you really want, man.
Well, Dr. Jones with my rubber glove is going to make sure every one of you are safe.
Good stat for Mina Kimes in the last 2 years. George Pickens tied with Justin Jefferson for the most 20-plus air yard catches in the league.
I mean, Russ throwing the typical Russ moonball, you know? That was part of their massive chunk play offense that caused them to go from 4-2 to 10-3, but something caused them to go from 10-3 to barely making the playoffs and then barely surviving in it. You know, and Pickens, you know, they're our friends at ESPN this morning were showing a bunch of moments where veterans had to go up to calm him down. He's barking at people in the stands, barking on the sidelines, whatever's going on. If you remember, Tomlin came on the air and said after Pickens' first year there that he kept telling George to do the routine things routinely because everything else, the acrobatic stuff, the physical acts of freakishness, that he needed no polishing on that.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. He'll make the one-handed catch in traffic, and then he'll drop a 5-yard slant as the ball hits him right in his hand. It's kind of weird.
So congratulations there, sir.
Thanks. Like I said, man, just show me something. Like, show us that you care as much as we care. And this is, I think it's going to give good favor to the fans and let us know that, all right.
And Steeler fans,
oof.
Again, once upon a time, it wasn't like, all right, our quarterback plan is to just keep on bridging and bridging and bridging. Or I guess bridging and bridging. They bridged the last 2 years, and or it does appear that this year is another bridge plan. And the question is, are they bridging to Will Howard? Are they bridging to 2026?
Is
what
it
are they
the Rainbow Bridge?
So, and it's un-Steeler-like to, while you're bridging, bringing in a wide receiver and paying him
that much
money. And then taking another wide receiver who would be wonderfully paired with him for the guy that you're hoping to lure off the beach here in Malibu. Unless he doesn't need to be lured. You just got to, in Tomlin we trust, and say, don't worry.
Here, Coach.
Don't worry, Aaron. We just saved you a massive headache. You can leave the Advil on the beach, because we're just sending him to, he's now Schottenheimer and Dax and CD's and Jerry's issue. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.